Welcome to the Personal Pension Radio Podcast, where it's all about helping you complete your financial journey to retirement. Discover time-tested strategies and get unconventional insights into wealth building and retirement that actually work. Break away from the herd and go for the retirement you dream of. And now, here's your host, the income engineer, Kraig Strom.
All right, back on Personal Pension Radio. Thank you once again for joining me. Thanks for the downloads. Thank you so much for the feedback. Keep the questions coming. Kraig at kraigstrom.com. Yes, I am the income engineer, broadcasting from the Personal Pension Radio Workshop here in Southern California. Yes, it is an actual workshop. Those of you who are new to the show, I build furniture, cabinetry, a variety of other things in my wood shop in the backyard, and I also have my little podcast studio set up right here in the shop. My mission is to deliver that retirement dream that Wall Street promises, but unfortunately they don't teach financial advisors the complete retirement income picture, and that's what I want to help you with. I want to help pull back the curtain on mainstream financial advice so that you can actually ask the questions that are right for you, get the answers that you need to know what the real retirement income picture looks like, and then make the necessary changes so that you can head towards something to look forward to. Now, for those of you who are new to the show, I was born in Maine, so you'll hear me reference the East Coast often, and came to California a long time ago. I've got a fantastic wife, married to my wife now for, we joke, it's been 57 years. No, it hasn't been 57 years. She is just absolutely patient with me. I have a 20-year-old daughter, Madeline, who's off at Flagstaff at college, and we have two fur people. Yes, we are dog people. We're passionate about animals in general, but we have dogs. And I am also a crazy car guy. So I run a weekly car show, and I have a car dealership license as a hobby. Yes, I like cars. Now, most of you don't know this, so I share this so that you're aware of where my messaging in the beginning of just came from. Most financial advisors, most financial planners are educated by the same machine, that same Wall Street and financial advisory machine that taught me the messaging that worked best for Wall Street. Keep that in mind. The messaging is paid for by Wall Street and financial advisory firms. The message that works best for the firms and for Wall Street in general is keep as much of the money in the Wall Street machine, right? The advice that I was taught to teach you early, almost 20 years ago, was really incomplete. It didn't focus on actual retirement income strategy. It actually only got halfway there. Let's just say that. It only got halfway there. And someone asked me, well, why isn't Wall Street teaching retirement income? Well, that led to my question that I've asked many times on this show so that you, maybe new, maybe listen to this show every episode. You've got to remember this question. Does Wall Street have any financial incentive to teach me how to teach you to take money out of Wall Street's system? Of course not. Wall Street doesn't have a financial incentive to teach people how to take maximum income out of the Wall Street system. That wouldn't be good for Wall Street. So if Wall Street controls the education of financial planners, they control the marketing message, they control all of those strings, if you will, why would they teach us how to teach you to take maximum income out? Wouldn't it be better to hold as much of those assets in the Wall Street machine as possible? It's just good business. I'm not saying that it's evil or anything like that. I'm just saying it's only halfway there when it comes to retirement income advice, and it makes sense. When I finally figured that out, I set about becoming the income engineer and a retirement income specialist. That's where my passion came from. When I figured out that I had only been taught half the story, That's how I got really down this path. So please think about this. Areas that I can help with. I get this question all the time. Well, Kraig, I don't know. Should I call such and such or so and so? Well, the reality is I am, again, 20 years as a financial planner in the financial advisory business. I help people with, yes, retirement income planning, pre and post-retirement, even if you're already retired and you're listening to this show wondering, hey, I wonder if this guy could get me more retirement income. Maybe. You got to find out. I also help with IRAs, rollovers, Roth IRAs, 401ks, a variety of things like that. Lots of IRA type stuff. Investment account review. Oh, that is a big one. If you have not had your investment accounts reviewed by someone with my retirement income perspective, you're missing out. Love to also review 401ks, of course. Just set up a brand new 401k for a firm here in Southern California. We love that conversation. And I say we because to set up a new 401k, you can't do that alone. You shouldn't have just one individual doing that. You've got a whole team that actually has to set up a 401k. Life insurance is a big one for me. I am passionate about life insurance. I will review term life insurance, cash value life insurance, long-term care life insurance. Please, looking for those dusty old life insurance policies that you haven't pulled out of the drawer in forever, I will review those. Disability insurance and long-term care insurance planning. I love those conversations, folks. So really, if it's anything in the financial world, those are areas that I can actually talk to and help you and point you in the right direction. Even if it's not something that I personally take care of, I am extremely comprehensive in my ability to help. Let's put it that way. Now, quick disclosure before I forget, I am not an attorney. I'm not a CPA. I am a certified financial planner professional. All that said, and as many years as I have on the job, and as much qualifications as I think I have, please don't act on advice or things that you hear on this show as if it was advice for you. Please don't act on things that you hear from financial entertainers. Financial entertainers are those people who are not licensed, not regulated, have no oversight to watch out for you, right? It's like, picking up your prescription medication from somebody who says they're a pharmacist, but they're not really a pharmacist. Yeah, I don't think I want to get my prescription medications from that person, right? Meet with a qualified financial planner before you actually decide to take action on anything related to your financial world. Now, quick shout out to John and Christine in Stewartsville, New Jersey. Yes, I've got a new podcast listener out there. Thank you so much for listening. Really appreciate it. And I look forward to the opportunity to talk to you again soon. That's right. I do work with folks all over the country. And my very first opportunity to work with folks in New Jersey, John and Christine. Fantastic. Talk to you again real soon. Now, the first segment, watch your step. Last week, I covered this idea of an advertisement I heard on the radio to buy the Bitcoin dip by refinancing your house. Oh my gosh, that was amazing. I mean, I could never get away with saying something like that. Like, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Client, let's see if we can refinance this and I'll help you go buy that. Not a chance. That would just be a certain doom for my financial career. So the idea that a mortgage company is allowed to advertise that you should refinance your house to buy the Bitcoin dip, that was amazing. So if you want to hear more about that, check the last episode. Now, this week, I want to caution everybody not to evaluate rate of return in a vacuum. So let me go through this and hopefully you'll understand what I mean. So recently, I met a prospective new client, and she was searching for a new financial planner. Now, of course, I'm excited. I happen to be a financial planner, and I love to be the new financial planner. if you want to know more about that, you can email me, Kraig with a K, at kraigstrom.com. But now, she expressed dissatisfaction about some of the investments that had been recommended to her over the last 9 years. And I had to stop as I looked over things. Rather than take advantage of the fact that she was not looking at the big picture return from these investments, I gave her the complete answer. She was evaluating her rate of return in a vacuum, individually looking at the rate of return, okay? So what I mean by this is, okay, certain financial vehicles, such as 401k and other specialty investments, can provide a significant offset to current income taxes, right? If you put money in a 401k, you do not need to send a certain amount of money to the government in the form of income taxes in that year. So let's use that as an example, right? The big question, though, is what you do with that tax savings is the missing piece with my new prospective client evaluation here, right? Over a period of 9 years, the recommended investments that she had been in had returned about 9%. And she was not happy because the markets have been up higher than 9%. And it was not as good as the market, and we're not happy with that rate of return. Now, some of the investments, though, had also provided significant income tax offset over those 9 years. So I asked her, what did you do with the tax savings? The money that you didn't spend in taxes, what did you do with it? Did you spend it, save it, or invest it? Well, she said, invest it. She actually used it to add to her real estate purchases, that she would not have been able to purchase the same level of real estate investments without that tax savings. That tax savings over the last 9 years had helped her, in her case, buy more real estate. So that prompted me, again, to step back and say, well, let's take a look. Let's take a look at the overall real rate of return for the disappointing, quote, air quotes, disappointing portfolio. And I'm just going to use a 401k as an example, right? And her numbers were different, but I just want to simplify. And by the way, this is not a Scientific America article where I'm going to get into verifying the numbers and getting into exact details. I want to give you the general idea, okay? So let's look at this overall. If we use a 401k and we put in $18,500 per year at 9% for 9 years, I know it's not going to be 9% every single year. It's going to have ups and downs, but let's just keep it simple and use her number. That turns into, so 18.5 in 9 years turns into $262,000. Now, remember, if we put dollars in a 401k, there's a certain amount of money that we don't have to pay in current income taxes. Someday we got to pay the income tax, but let's say that she was able to defer and not pay income taxes on $5,000. So that means she got to keep. If she puts $18,500 in the 401k, she got to keep $5,000 spendable money, investable money in her possession. So if we take that $5,000 and invested that at 5%. Now, notice what I did there, folks. Remember, I am in a situation here where I have the opportunity to evaluate her portfolio. And yes, I would love to be her investment advisor, but I'm not going to exaggerate the numbers. I'm just going to go through and evaluate them the way I look at them. So let's say that her investment that she was disappointed in earned her a 9%. I'm going to say, what if she invested that $5,000 tax savings I'm going to call it tax savings. Yes, it is deferred taxes at only 5% return. So not the 9, she gets a 5. Okay. That turns into $58,000 at the end of 9 years. So we've got the $18,500 in the 401k turns into $262,000. The $5,000 at 5% turns into $57,889. Call it $58,000. Total between these two things, if she invested the tax money that she didn't send to Washington, now we're talking about an overall total of $320,000 in value. $320,000 in value is a far cry now. Let's take a look. If we realize, right, that she would not have had access to the $5,000 had she not put the other $18,500 in the 401k. Just keep that in mind. This is where we get a little unscientific, right? Because the point is, if you invest the $18,500, it frees up money that would have otherwise gone to taxes. So you really wouldn't have had the extra $5 to put somewhere and the $18,500 in addition. So if you look at it and you add it all up, right, by putting $18,500, we free up the $5,000. At the end of 9 years, that's $320,000. That would be about a 12.89 return overall. That's a pretty darn good overall rate of return. Now, I'm not being scientific. I'm not going to win a PhD in economics for this analysis. What I'm trying to get you to look at is the overall rate of return of an investment. Okay, the overall rate of return of a tax-favored investment has to also include what would you do with the tax savings. And if the answer is, I would invest it, well, you have to look at that, right? That in this case, we didn't just end up with $262,000. We ended up with $320,000 overall because I've got tax-advantaged money, tax savings growing. I've got the 401k growing. Together, the overall rate of return is substantially higher, right? So folks, keep that in mind. Don't evaluate an investment in a vacuum. Connect the dots. If you have any questions about this, please email me, Kraig at kraigstrom.com, Kraig at kraigstrom.com. And please don't email me saying your number's wrong, because it's not really 12.89. I know it's not 12.89. I'm just making a point. But I'm always open to discussion if you want to talk about your situation. Now, let me go through this next segment 2, a listener question. But last week, I'm going to continue to bring this up. Last week, somebody asked me, is my info safe? Is my information safe? We were talking about the e-money system that I give my listeners access to. And my answer was no, your information isn't safe anymore. I mean, heck, if you think about it, if Equifax and Chase Bank and Yahoo and everybody else gets hacked, even Bitcoin exchanges have been hacked. All these things, no, your information is not safe anymore. Freeze your credit was my advice. Freeze your credit. Freeze it, freeze your credit. If you don't know how to do that, Google it. Freeze your credit. Go to the 3 credit bureaus and freeze your credit. That is really the primary way to protect your identity, protect yourself from anybody opening up credit in your name. Freeze your credit. It costs about $20. It's easy. Get it done. Now, this week, I got a question. The question was this. I drive a lot for work, and I was thinking about getting a used Tesla so I never have to fill up with gas again. With the tax savings and the price of gasoline, it seems to make sense. What do you think? Now, this is a great question for someone like me who's a car guy, and full disclosure, I invite Teslas to my car show. My only rule at my car show is you've got to have a cool car. And Teslas are super fast, so I think they're cool, for sure. So I welcome Teslas at my car show all the time. right? But we got to really evaluate this. First of all, FYI, the tax credit for buying an electric vehicle is only on new cars. There is no tax credit on a used electric vehicle, right? If I'm wrong, please let me know, but I don't believe there's any tax credits on used Teslas, okay? So you're just buying them straight up. Now, I'm not sure if this person was asking about the Model S or the Model X. You've got the Model S is a sedan. The Model X is an SUV. I'll assume that the new smaller one that's coming out is probably not the one because you have to wait in line for those for a long time, and there's not really any used ones out there. I'll give you an answer on both. No. I've done the math. I just don't see how the Tesla makes sense unless, right, the only reason to buy a Tesla is because you like or love the car. You love the SUV. You're not really saving money as a whole, okay? So I can't help it. Here's the, I have to do it. I'm a geek for this kind of stuff. So let me tell you how it looks. If you look at the sedan, used, as this person asked about, used, the cheapest in America right now is $37,000 on up to the highest at $145,000. Now, folks, Tesla has not been out for that many years. Listen to that just again. I'm going to change the numbers in the order. The most expensive used Tesla on the market right now is $145,000. The cheapest used Tesla is $37,000. That is insanity. That is just amazing. That's over $100,000 in depreciation from, I just can't even say it. The cheapest is a 2013. Think about that. That's 5 years. We're in 2018 right now. The cheapest is a 2013. It has 95,000 miles on it. Now, good on them for driving the heck out of that car, but you can get a really inexpensive used Tesla. By the way, Tesla says that their engines, their motors, will go 500,000 miles. So 95,000 miles is nothing, right? Okay, what else, though, for $37,000, what else could you get for $37,000? There is a ton available for $37,000, but the one that really caught under $39,000, 37. I keep saying 39. Where'd I come up with 39? There's lots of different cars available, but here's what caught my eye. A Hyundai Sonata Hybrid. 2015, so 2 years newer than the cheapest Tesla on the market, 2 years newer with only 30,000 miles, okay? Remember, 95,000 miles versus 30,000 miles, so 65,000 miles less, 2 years newer. Every single techno bell and whistle that Hyundai could put in a car. Oh, so cool. And it's a hybrid with awesome gas mileage, phenomenal gas mileage. $19,000, folks. $19,000. That's an $18,000 difference for a Hyundai Sonata Hybrid versus a Tesla sedan. You can scoff all you want, but I'm telling you, that Hyundai is going to be super comfortable. It's awesome. Great warranty still sitting on that car. The Tesla is nearly 100,000 miles, and I don't care how good it is, it's going to need repairs. And oh, by the way, Google it. The insurance claims and getting the insurance companies to cover parts and repairs on Tesla can be a bit of a challenge. How hard is it to drive into a Hyundai dealership anywhere from California to Boston? Not hard at all, right? It's still under a warranty, awesome gas mileage, and you never have to wait in line at a supercharger station, and you can travel across country without an extra 5 hours of waiting to charge up. Now, what about the Model X? Okay, Model X. The cheapest Model X is $85,000. The most expensive Model X, the SUV, is $160,000. Okay. Now, the cheapest one is actually a 2016 with only 8,800 miles. What else can you get for less than $85,000? You can get all kinds of SUVs for less than $85,000, right? Absolutely fully loaded SUVs for even like 30, 40,000 bucks. You could get a completely loaded Mercedes-Benz GLE 550 hybrid for $65,000 with just every option known to man, and you never have to fill up at a supercharger station, right? Either way, you have to buy a lot of gas to make up the difference, right? Even getting a full-blown Mercedes luxury hybrid SUV, you save $20,000. And if you need service, you just take it into your local Mercedes dealer or your local Toyota dealer, wherever you happen to buy it, right? And if you want to drive cross-country, right? You don't have to worry about stopping at the supercharger station. And then people say, well, oh, wait a minute, Kraig. The Tesla is environmentally friendly. We're hugging trees and saving pandas, right? Where do you think we get most of the power to power electric vehicles? Okay? Here's the reality, folks. The primary source of electricity in the United States of America, natural gas, 34%. Coal, 30%. 64% of all the electricity comes from natural gas and coal, right? Fossil fuels being burned to provide the electricity for the electric vehicle. Solar power and wind, by the way, 7% of all the power. That's it, total, 7%. There is no possible way you can't even power a tiny bit of the electric vehicle economy with solar and wind. The basic fact is that the more electric vehicles purchased, the more fossil fuel is burned to provide the electricity to power them. That's it. And remember, I love the Teslas. I think they're just the coolest thing. But this idea that I'm buying a Tesla because I love the planet. No, truth be told, the more electric vehicles we have, the more natural gas and coal are going to be cranked into the fireplace so we can get the electricity to provide, to drive around in the Tesla. Buy the Tesla because you like it. Buy the Teslas because they're so techno-cool. They are awesome. Don't buy it because you're hugging the planet, really, because you're that's just my opinion, because you're not. Final thoughts. Tesla depreciates like a rock. The depreciation on Tesla is tremendous. Be careful. Be mindful of that. Don't get sucked in by the idea of a tax credit on a brand new Tesla because you're going to lose any benefit of that tax credit with the depreciation that's going to happen on that new Tesla. Always better to get a used one for sure, right? Get a used one. I told you the Model S, $145,000 new, one with high miles, $37,000. Folks, do not get a new one if you're thinking about it from the perspective of a tax credit, because the depreciation will wipe out any benefit of the tax credit. The depreciation is faster, right? In a Tesla, the hybrid technologies will continue to improve as all of the big automakers continue to improve their hybrid technology. The fuel cell vehicles, hydrogen, all of that will mean that the electric vehicles like Teslas and other things like that will depreciate even faster. That, and a quick story, this is another, I got a nice 3 or 4 hour drive in a Tesla Model S a few years ago, and awesome car, techno amazing. It wasn't that super comfortable and luxurious, but it was totally cool, I have to tell you. And yet, we ended up in some pretty serious traffic, some real serious traffic, go figure, here in Southern California, and came back from our journey, And I asked the guy that I was with, I said, hey, Chad, why is it so hot in here? Does the Tesla not have air conditioning today? And he says, we're almost out of gas. Now, of course, we're in a Tesla, so that was his way of telling me we're actually running out of charge. We only had about 55 miles left before the Tesla would die, meaning that he better get to a supercharger station or we better get home. So he turned off all the electronics. He turned off the air conditioning. We had no radio. He was basically trying to get back to where he could charge it in his garage and dropped me off, and he had less than 15 miles left. I mean, that right there is the part that I do not care for when it comes to an all-electric vehicle. I love the idea that I can pull into any gas station between here and Miami, Florida, here in Maine, anywhere, and I can get there just fine. And oh, by the way, vehicles today, new ones with new clean burning technology, put out so much less greenhouse gases than a coal burning power plant or a natural gas burning power plant that we use to plug in those electric cars. So that's my rant, my detailed answer to should I buy a Tesla? Don't buy a Tesla unless you like the Tesla. If you love it, great. If you want it because you're going to save money, no, don't fool yourself. You're not going to save money on it. Better off saving or investing the difference so that you have more money to retire on later. Save the $20,000, $30,000 premium that you spend on the Tesla and invest it for your retirement. That's my take on it. I'm not Tesla bashing. I think they're amazing, right? Now, that wraps it up for me. So you heard me mention eMoney. If you are interested in checking out the eMoney system, awesome cash flow planning, estate planning, goals-based planning, data aggregation, retirement income, all that, please send me an email, Kraig@kraigstrom.com, subject line eMoney. That'll wrap it up for this time. Please take action. If you found some things in here interesting, send me an email, get in touch, get your own personal retirement income analysis done with me directly. I look forward to talking to you again real soon. Take care.
Thank you for listening to the Personal Pension Radio Podcast. If you missed anything during the show, that's okay. We took the notes for you. Check the show notes for links, offers, and a full transcript. And don't forget to head over to personalpensionradio.com and download your free retirement income report. While you are there, we would appreciate some iTunes love. Please leave us a fantastic rating on iTunes by going to personalpensionradio.com/iTunes. Thanks again for listening.
Now for the disclosure. Information presented is for educational purposes only and is not intended for solicitation, sale or purchase of any security or financial product. Be sure to first consult with a qualified financial advisor and your tax professional before implementing any strategy discussed here. The term personal pension refers to a marketing name designed to educate future retirees and retirees about the economic principles behind creating their own pension-like income. The term personal pension is not intended to be confused with a defined benefit pension plan offered by an employer or by a government entity.